All right, everybody, we are live. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of our Sunday Watch Parties. I am your host, Sharon, and today my co host is Matt Heckboy.
Heck, boy.
Welcome, Matt.
Heck you all to hell.
Um, well, we are in for a treat today. This is what I would consider a blockbuster, an awesome movie, fun from start to finish. Um, and This is just over 2 hours long. Mine says 2 hours and 12 minutes, but I thought it was a lot shorter to 2 hours and 2 minutes. So my rental might have extra stuff. I don't know. You guys out there, what is your time on your movie say? Either way, we can make it work. I was not aware that there were any special editions or anything like that. So, um, we ought to be synced up at about 20 seconds in or thereabouts, right after the Columbia Pictures logo, right at the dark screen before Revolution Studios logo comes on. Um, okay, so it looks like, yeah, see, Edward the Black Prince, 2 hours and 1 minute. Alex has got just over 2 hours. Sith Sister's got 2 hours and 12 minutes. So, you know what, guys? Um, let's just do it. So if everybody is synced up, then we will get started. We'll meet somewhere in the middle, I'm sure. I've got a couple extra minutes in mind. Eric is saying 2 hours and 12 is the remastered version. Alrighty then. So everybody ready? Matt, Heckboy, would you like to count us down and we'll get this party started?
Okay, and we're counting down from 6, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
That was clever. Um, All right, this is exactly the kind of blockbuster movie. After last week's, um, how should we say, fun, trashy movie. This is
I think
exactly what we need.
anything we picked would have outshone last week's movie.
Oh, um, so let's get started. I am interested if any of you out there have seen this in the theater. It came out in 2004, right about April, the beginning of April in 2004. Um, have you seen it in the theater? If not, what was your first introduction? If you haven't seen it, what are your expectations for today? So I'm also curious if if you haven't seen it, then you are in for a treat. Um, it looks like GH Donor saw it in the theater. Fantastic. Calbot has never seen this. Fantastic. Uh, Over there in Discord, Sis Sister, definitely need a palate cleanser from last week. Yes, we do. Um, yeah, so you are all in for a treat. So let's, while the foundation of the movie gets going, let me do a shout out to all of you who are joining us today. We have out there in YouTube chat, we have Alex Peacock, Eric, GH Zoner, aka Hell if I Know. Hey Matt, you're in the chat there. Miss Swift, welcome. Edward the Black Prince. We have Calbot. Let's see, Edward the Black Prince, Johnny Devick, welcome. Um, am I missing anybody? Eric has seen it once. Well, this is going to be your second time. I hope it's going to be what you remembered, if you remember it at all. Let's see, over there in Discord. Let's see, we have Mr. Furzel. Oh, I've got a comment over in, let's see, do we have, oh, there we go. Max Sterling, do we have to own the movie or is it streaming on Discord? No, because streaming rights are what they are, you have to have the movie. You either have to own the movie or rent it. So we all have our copy. and we all start at the same sync point. If there's a way that we can have a central location to stream it from one place where you all can join in, I would love that. But the rights have to be paid to the studio. Um, but if any IT experts are out there, if you want to hit me up, I've been trying to figure out how to do that where I can absorb the cost of, maybe 10 to 20 people joining in one central location just to take the financial burden off you guys. And if we can make it cost effective that way, I don't, I've researched and tried to reach out to people, see if they can get that set up. But if any of you know how to do it or know of anybody, please hit me up because I would love to do that. But for now, you do have to have your own copy or find it free. You can find a lot of these movies free. This one is free on Tubi. So, Max, we would love for you to join us if you want to start syncing the movie up on Tubi. Join the chat.
Yeah, I've seen a
Um,
number of streamers who just run the movies on their channel, hoping they don't get caught. But we're not
well,
venturing into that territory.
no, all we need is, a strike, and I'm off of YouTube, and we're done with this channel. But they,
I've
the
been in YouTube
licensing.
I've been in YouTube copyright prison once. I don't want to go back. They made me
No,
take a test.
this is all above board. We're all legit. But if there is a way that I could absorb the cost, just as long as it doesn't get too crazy, because I'm not a movie studio, but to take the burden off you guys, I would love to do that. But so far, I haven't had any luck doing that. So, yeah, there you go, guys.
Yeah.
Um,
I was like, yeah,
so
watching this movie, it keeps bringing mind many other movies, and I don't know if that was intentional or just a coincidence. But here, where we have the Nazis and ancient relics, it's just screaming Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I wonder, we can trace the origins of this. I believe the comics came first, but the comics for Hellboy weren't introduced until I believe the late 90s.
Right. The
Um,
comic was 1993.
oh, all right. So the beginning of the 90s. So they might have borrowed, because I'm not in that arena, the comic book arena. I'm sure they borrowed it from a lot of other sources.
That's always
Um,
why, yeah, people have said, same thing where I should write stories or do stuff. And I said, I can't. I've seen too much and I know I'm referencing other people's stuff. I can't do it. It's just,
right.
yeah,
And this does have, um, a little, I mean, not a connection to the MCU, but there was a Nazi element to some of the characters in the Marvel universe.
yeah,
Superman, I believe, originated in before World War II, or it was
yeah,
after
yeah.
the absolute origins of Superman.
Yeah,
Um,
Superman, 1938.
yeah, okay. Um, so again, we have in this movie version, we kind of have the origins of Hellboy, Nazi occupied, but this is in Norway, I believe, right? This is around World War II.
Right.
Um, um, oh, Max Sterling supposed to be doing yard work, but just wanted to know next time. Yeah, we'd love for you to join us. We do it every Sunday, and I see kind of in the chats over in Discord. Um, yeah, come on over, have some fun with us.
Yeah, I
And
was gonna say, yeah, let Max know there. If even if they don't watch the movie, they can still use us as an excuse not to go out and do the yard work. We're okay with it.
exactly, especially
That's,
the
that's
winter. We're
more than
still in
movie.
winter time. Oh, thank you, Alex. They're in Scotland, of all places. So 1944. This is probably what towards the end of World War II in Scotland. Okay, so there you go. But we have this
Yeah,
bad guy is Rasputin, whose origins date back to Russia, what, 19 teens, showing up in 1944 Scotland. Okay.
Yeah, because this is also paralleling the Captain America story with Red Skull being an agent of the Nazis, but once they obtain what they're looking for, they're going to use it for their own ends. Yeah, very, very
Yeah.
similar plot lines.
Yep. Edward the Black Prince mentioned that the Red Skull Captain America arc nemesis. So yeah, this is a nice change of pace, blockbuster movie in my opinion, um, because I love Guillermo del Toro. Love his movies. Um,
Yeah, that's this is like I said. Everybody, I was listening to the commentary last night, and they're just yeah saying Guillermo del Toro just puts it is just everything is a a passion piece for him. It isn't a job. He said he was in. He's writing fine little details. He wrote everybody their own backstory and handed it out to the cast. They had
yeah, this was
nothing but the highest respect for him.
yes. So this definitely was a project of love for him. Um, he did the screenplay. He directed it. He wanted Ron Perlman, of all people, to star in this movie. And he reportedly was not going to make it without Ron Perlman. They had worked together a couple years previous on, oh, what was the movie they did together? Anybody can name it off the top of their head?
It was Blade too
Uh,
with Del
what's it
Toro.
called? It was something like Kronos.
Well, yeah, Del Toro did Blade too. That starred Ron Perlman.
I think Blade 2 was after this, but they did a small movie together, and he was dead set on having Ron Perlman in this. And he basically told the studio that I'm not making it without him.
Yeah,
And
no, because
now a
Blade
star is
Blade two
born.
Blade two came out 2 years before this,
Okay.
and that's
Uh,
basically yeah they wanted somebody to play Hellboy. The studio wanted like Vin Diesel.
yeah.
Guillermo del Toro was like nope, and he showed him Blade two, going we got to have this guy. We got to have Ron Perlman.
Yeah. And eventually he got what he wanted. And how different this, well, I was gonna say, boy, what a different movie this would have been had Ron Perlman not been the star. But we've seen reboots with David Harbour, and this recent one. It was either last year or 2024, which I can't I cannot bring myself to see those. Can't. Um, but I did see the sequel to this, The Golden Army, and I'm even though I'm not a fan of sequels, I'm putting The Golden Army right up with this one. Yeah, Edward the Black Prince. No one cares about that reboot. Yeah, there's just something.
Yep, I haven't got around to it, and it is not
No.
high on my list to see. So
Yeah, it's not even something I will revisit for a joke. Um, he is Hellboy. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So Mr. Furzel posted pictures of the different iterations of Hellboy. Um, so yeah, there's David Harbour. That's the picture above David Harbour. That was from the recent reboot, and the name of the actor escapes me just because it's like not even in my head. Um, yeah, but it tanked. Oh, here we go. Gee, so to watch the reboot during a long flight did not help pass the time. Ugh.
yeah,
Here we go. Here's Hellboy as a baby.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
didn't
he's
I didn't see any
cute.
information on why they're feeding a baby Ruth bar, so I'm just going to call that's a callback to Caddyshack. That's all I'll have to say about that. With
Um,
Bill Murray
could
in the
be.
swimming pool.
Made them pick a baby Ruth bar. Why baby Ruth? And maybe there was just some of. affinity to it.
It is a era correct Baby Ruth bar that they either found or masqueraded. But I know in the commentary, because yeah, Selma Blair was talking that they'd actually given her one of those, actually old candy bars, and she said this needs a lot more preservatives because it does not hold up for this many years. So she had graciously took it and graciously threw it in the trash.
No doubt. Um, yeah, I mean, there's just something charming about these soldiers that found, from all intents and purposes, this movie. Uh, we're supposed to understand that Hellboy came basically from the other side, this other dimension, hell, so to speak, and half man, half devil. So okay, but he's certainly not playing the part. He's
No.
calmed by a Baby Ruth bar.
Yeah, now we've
Um,
got everyone talking about candy bars. So, Mr. Frizzle, I'm going to go with the Reese's peanut butter, the
hmm.
Nutrageous bar.
Mm. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, everybody in Discord, Mr. Furzel is asking favorite candy bar chat. I'm a whatchamacallit man myself. Oh boy. Yeah, those are good. I would have to say probably Snickers, anything with peanut butter, or not peanut butter, but with peanuts. Also Reese's, peanuts, peanut butter, and chocolate.
Yeah,
Best
I've
combination
seen,
ever.
I've, I've seen a lot of them where they keep raising the cost, downsizing the bar, and
Yeah.
then changing the recipes to where they're just terrible.
Yeah, and supposedly the descendant of the original creator or maker of Reese's has come out and lambasted what Reese's has become today, and he says it's a travesty based on what it used to be. Um, I don't know. They're still Reese's to me.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, there you go. Sis sister, favorite candy is Reese's Pieces, but a whatchamacallit is up on the list. Ooh, Edward the Black Prince, Butterfingers.
yeah.
Alex
See,
Peacock is saying, "Oh, Henry and Snickers."
yeah,
Whew,
Butterfingers
nice.
is one I think. Butterfingers used to be a favorite of mine, but I think they messed around with it. It doesn't taste good anymore. They've done something weird to it.
Well, like you said, everything these days they had to. I'm sure they had to change the recipes to save money. They've made the bars smaller. I'm sure they're using cheaper ingredients. Um, yeah, nothing is as good as it used to be, I guess. Oh, Alex Peacock, proper English Cadberries. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay, we
I'm
have.
familiar with the European American debate about chocolate, and I haven't experienced enough from Europe to have an opinion on it. But apparently, American products are disgusting.
Yeah,
You guys,
it's
you guys need to
definitely
be raised
not.
on all the dyes and chemicals we use.
Yes. Well, it seems like America might be waking up with all the artificial ingredients and artificial colors. So I know some of the products are changing their list of ingredients. So who knows if it's better. So this scene right here is a really interesting scene. Um, Rasputin is coming back from his dead portal wherever he was. But as I understand it, that where he was resurrected was where he disappeared in 44. Is that right? I'm guessing. And then they had to sacrifice that guy and the blood brought Rasputin back.
Yeah. Who does here where you have Jeffrey Tambor? What's the first movie that comes to mind or TV show when you think of Jeffrey Tambor?
Arrested Development.
I was going to say that That's one, but it's not the first thing I remember him from. Let's see
The first thing.
if anybody else can pick my pick for Jeffrey Tambor movie.
Oh, what do we get a star? I tell you what, back in the day, I think I remember him first showing up in that little show called The Ropers. Was he in that?
That I know. Yeah, because that would
He
have been
wasn't
no
the star, but he
that
did
was
show up in that.
yeah, the Ropers. That was Norman Fell, and then later replaced by Don Knotts in the
No,
Three's Company, and whether that went. But yeah, I can't recall if he had a part in it. But the big clue to my Jeffrey Tambor pick will be the title of the movie is a day of the week, and it's going to happen next weekend.
yeah, you would mention that.
There we go. Yep. Thank you, Miss
It's
Swift.
Pi.
Saturday the 14th.
There we go. Saturday the 14th. Hey, Miss Swift, you got it. Oh my God, you're right. I saw Saturday the 14th when it made its rounds on cable way back in the day. I tell you what, I'm feeling my age. I remember, yeah, early 80s. I remember early 70s. Um, yeah,
But
life has been quite a ride.
if we want a good another good cameo bit from him, then I pick his character Adam Shadowchild from the movie Paul, or he's
Oh, that's
the
interesting.
book author at the comic book convention.
Yeah, he's a prolific character actor. He's been in everything. Um, Apparently, he got canceled from Hollywood a few years back. I don't know the details, but I don't think he shows up much anymore. But yeah, he used to be in a lot of stuff. Yeah, Sis Sister Saturday the 14th. That's an oldie. It sure is. Um, yeah, and so Jeffrey Tambor's character, what do they call it? Dr. Manning. He is the epitome of what government spokespeople. They're the ones that go on television. They're the ones quoted in newspapers saying, "Guys, there's nothing to see here. Yes, I work for the government, but you know what, guys? All those crazy theories, nothing to see here. It's all legit. Nothing like there's no such thing as Hellboy. Come on, guys." Um,
Yeah, he's the spin doctor.
yeah, he's the spin doctor.
But yeah, now
Um,
that we're get here now that we're seeing the Bureau of Paranormal Research. I said that also. I just wonder if that's an offshoot of the Men in Black.
Uh, could be.
Because
Maybe
we have
they
the Men
in
in
the
Black
same
doing
universe.
aliens, and the Bureau, the BPRD. They're running the mythological creatures, and we get so much too of the Cthulhu myth with H.P. Lovecraft's work is involved in the stories too.
Yeah, there's a heavy, what, occultish, spiritual undertone in this movie. And it kind of plays throughout in the backstory. Um, yeah, here we have Abe Sapien, who was born on the day that Lincoln was assassinated. And as G.H. Zoner's pointing out, Abe later tried to start a film career in The Shape of Water. There's a connection. Um, so interesting fact, the actor who plays Abe Sapien, let me make sure, um,
And it's Doug Jones.
is not the one who does the voice. The voice is done by David Hyde Pierce. Um, but you, unless you kind of knew that fact at the time, I just figured it was the actor. Yes, Eric, that's John Hurt playing um, Broom, I guess is his nickname. Also known as what Hellboy, it's Hellboy's father. He's the doctor. Let's make sure I get his name right. Brutenholm?
Yeah, Brutenholm,
Brut,
the Professor Brutenholm.
Brutenoff? Brutenoff. Yep. And of
Brutenholm.
course, John Hurt has an illustrious Hollywood career too.
Yep, he has that, yeah, infamously famous scene in everybody's favorite movie, Spaceballs.
Oh, soon to be, well, yeah. He passed away a few years ago, so he's not going to be in the Spaceballs sequel. But he did. He had just that one scene in Spaceballs, didn't he? And here we have a young agent just now being sent to be Hellboy's what guard. Um,
I'm seeing now a
Rupert
lot. I don't
Evans.
know. I didn't see this before, but now all of a sudden, because when we did the Terrence Stamp movie, I then rewatched, the latest version of the Get Smart movie with Steve Carell. So now I'm just watching all these guys in suits, going, "Well, wait, these are just agents of control." But
Yeah,
that was a good rewatch. I hadn't paid much attention to it, and I much rather loved the Get Smart TV series from the '60s. But rewatching the Get Smart movie with Terrence Stamp and Steve Carell was pretty enjoyable.
and that was yeah, Steve Carell and was that the one? Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway. She
Yes,
was 99.
'99. Yeah,
You know, this really is a toss up between whether this movie or The Golden Army um, is my favorite. I still go for this one every time, but The Golden Army, ended up watching a double feature this week
yeah,
because you can watch it one after the other. And watching them over and over and over again, I find something new and enjoyable. But yeah, the agent here, Rupert Evans is his name. He doesn't come back in the sequel. There was some kind of scheduling conflict. He had another project to do, and so he didn't come back. But it's not like you missed him in the sequel because the movie just picked up right without him. Yeah, Alex Peacock. I'll be watching Golden Army tonight after dinner. Oh, it's such a good movie.
yeah. I think, yeah, Golden Army get because this movie has to spend half the time establishing the origin of Hellboy. A lot of explanation, and Golden Army just gets right to the story. And it's
Right.
also since this was a success, Guillermo del Toro had so much more freehand you know create a more intricate world.
Exactly. So this movie spends the time establishing the characters, where they came from, and I like how in that previous scene they bring in the comic book version as part of the plot, when in reality there is a comic book series that was based on Hellboy. I don't think they're published anymore. I think was it just out for a couple years, I think, and then they finished the comics? Or is it still in production? Does anybody know? Does anybody still read them?
Yeah, I never followed that series, so I can't answer that question.
Um, and one of the other things I love about this movie is the makeup effects are phenomenal. When you think that the budget for this movie was about, I think about 65 to 68 million dollars. There really is, I don't want to say there's no CGI, but all of these like costume effects are so
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah,
because you get
it's a good
up
mix.
close.
Yeah, it's a good mix of animatronics and CGI where they
Yeah,
blend together to help each other out, not take over the spotlight, so to say.
exactly. So all of these characters that have the makeup effects are developed characters. There's no wasted character, in my opinion. Um, and it's just a great superhero action movie. And you can really just sit back, not even think about it. We don't have to dissect the plot because it really is just a very simple plot, very well done. And I cannot imagine what it took for Ron Perlman to get in that red makeup day after day.
Yeah, they I forget the number, but yeah, they spent weeks developing that costume long before production started.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, no,
And
that
if
was
you,
done. I think exclusively was Rick Baker who did just the Hellboy makeup, and then other either parts of his own team or other effect studios worked on everything else.
yeah, that's true. Rick Baker came as um, what? And he wasn't in charge of all of the effects, but when he came in, he did such a phenomenal job. You spend time, well, I do, spend time studying the costume, studying the makeup to see if you can notice any flaws and to see where you can see the seams or you can see um, where it wasn't done as well. But I mean, this I just don't. It's so well done, and he's just what a lovable character, the hero that you just love and root for. Um, well, and it's the same energy that Ron Perlman brings to any of his characters. Um,
Yeah, you get so many actors who get to be known, especially with Doug Jones. He's always like hired just to be the man in the suit, and that's even with Ron Perlman because he got his start doing the TV series Beauty and the Beast with Linda Hamilton.
yep. And I remember watching that, admiring the costume work because he was in that heavy costume. Um, that's where I think, yeah, that's where he got his start, and that's where I remember seeing him from. But he
Yeah,
was
that
not this big Hollywood movie actor until this was like his first what real starring role.
yeah, that's the other one too, where we've did our watch party of Ice Pirates, so where we saw Ron Perlman,
Oh.
and that's where I met Ron Perlman I think in 2014, and I was upset because he didn't bring any photos of him as a pirate from Ice Pirates, and he just seemed to be a little grumpy that I even mentioned that he was in that movie.
Well, you can't run from your past, right? You got to embrace it because who you are as an actor, you got to start somewhere, and that leads to the roles that you get to do now. Um, Johnny Devick said he was in a Neanderthal movie also. At the same time, Alex Peacock put that GIF, Quest for Fire. So Quest for Fire was also, oh boy, that was a long time ago, the beginning of his career. So this creature that Hellboy is fighting now, I think that is entirely CGI. There might have been one or two shots where we actually saw a guy in a costume or prosthetics, but I think mainly that is a CGI creation. Oh, so we are introduced to the bad guy Rasputin, who I
Yeah.
guess did not die
We'll
back
have
in
there's a
1913.
there's a director's cameo in this scene. We got to look for a guy in a dragon costume because that's Guillermo del Toro. Don't know if we passed it yet or not.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I believe it's
Interesting.
Del, Del Toro dressed as a dragon, and there's like a knight in armor, and that is um, it's I think Mike Mignola, the comic book creator.
Interesting. That is that sort of like Stephen King likes to make cameos in his movies.
I'm trying to remember how many we got in that's going back to I'm thinking of the Peter Jackson in Brain Dead, where they all
Mm.
like do it. You give a little wink to the audience, and or just going all the way back to Alfred Hitchcock doing that.
This movie was considered a financial success. Um, Even with all the money that the studio had to put in, I believe it made just a little bit of money, not a ton. Um, and I was looking at some of the other movies that were in the theater at the time, and I don't think there were any blockbusters, but I do recall reading where the Golden Army that was set to succeed by all accounts, and they had really high hopes for it because this one established Ron Perlman and established Hellboy as a money-making franchise. They were going to make three movies together. Del Toro was going to bring Ron Perlman in for three movies, and it didn't happen. Um, by all accounts, the Golden Army did really well on opening weekend, and then um, in 2008, a week after the Golden Army hit the theaters, The Dark Knight came on board, and I think kind of swept all the momentum away from the Golden Army. But so that might have played into part of the reason why a third one wasn't made. But it sure would have been fun it had a third one been made. So I all I could say is Hellboy is a badass, and I'm glad he's on our side.
Like this gets pointed out here where he's not affected by the fire, and he says he's fireproof. But just earlier, when he was under the train and his horns got heated up and he touched them, he screamed out, "Ouch!" So which is it? You affected by fire or not?
That was a cool trick. That monster kind of twisted the back of his body. And I went back and I paused it at that scene, and it was just quick, blink of an eye. But it actually like twisted the back of his body 360 degrees, I think. Yep, there. He just got run over. I think are we still on track? Because he just got run over by the car.
Yeah, maybe a little ahead here.
Could be. Apparently, I've got the remastered edition. It's
Because
got.
yeah, 'cause mine doesn't have the extra 10 minutes, so
Mm,
I'm already at the school.
mm.
We're at the psychiatric hospital in my version because I don't have the extra 10 minutes.
Interesting. He's now, um, that was smart. He electrified himself, which electrified and burnt to a crisp that monster. So yeah, apparently fire does not. Well, because he's from the depths of hell, so fire wouldn't affect him. Which is a good thing because we're introduced in just a little bit. We're going to be introduced to his girlfriend, and I won't give anything away. But she is an interesting character also.
Yeah, I didn't look too much in who else they did. I think Selma Blair, how she was cast, but yeah, this role doesn't fit any of the other jobs she has. She's usually either in a raunchy comedy or I'm thinking of yeah her bit in Cruel Intentions. Usually, yeah, just the
Usually like a drama role.
just yeah either dramatic or or for comedic effect. So it's interesting to see her in this, but I haven't. Uh, yeah, for yeah Selma Blair movies, that's all I've written down. That's it. I've seen Cruel Intentions and I've seen The Sweetest Thing. That's about it.
Yeah, and she was in Legally Blonde a few years before this movie. Um, oh, I guess she was in the remake of The Fog, the 2005 version, that monstrosity. Um, okay, but she did come back to voice Liz, her character in they have 2006 and 2007 Hellboy Sword of Stones and Hellboy Blood and Iron. So she did the voice on those. But yeah, she's got a really long filmography. But she is one of those actresses, or I have not seen a lot of her work for no other reason than I, you pick something to watch and she just doesn't happen to be in it. Um, okay, so note to self: when Hellboy destroyed that creature on the subway, the two little lights that came out, so you kill one and then two pop up. Um, all right, here we go. Bellamy Psychiatric Hospital, and we're introduced to Liz. How are we all doing for time? Are we all still kind of synced up? Um,
Yeah, I'm
we're
like I
introduced
said,
to Liz now.
yeah, I'm way ahead because yeah, I'm already at the fight scene with Cronin. So
Okay, GH Zoner is I'm a scene or two ahead.
yeah,
Well,
but all right.
we just kind of go with the flow, guys.
So I'm going to hit pause. You tell me when we get to the battle scene with Cronin.
Um, yeah, we have it's kind of interlaced with that scene. We have now the limo showing up, um, and we're introduced. Oh, there he is. Manning is coming out of the limo. So all of that talk that Manning was on that, what was he on? Jimmy Kimmel? Was it Jimmy Kimmel or um? Now I'm losing track of all the late night hosts, but he was saying nothing to see here. But come to find out, he is, um, yeah, he's heavy involved in these creatures' lives. Johnny Devitt, Lasers and the Ninja now. Yep. I'm about a scene or two behind that because we're now in the museum and Abe is. Oh, Abe's power is so cool. The tentacles. I think he's got that power to read objects and get what to read the essence of objects. Um, and to what either see the past, see the history of an object. Yeah, Edward the Black Prince. This is definitely 2000s CG,
Yeah,
and they
I got
still.
yeah. Now that we're with here with Mister Fursel mentioning, yeah, that we're talking, the Clockwork Man. That got me interested to see, how unique, the Clockwork aspect was, because it brought up, especially, where you got to keep winding it up, but that brought back TikTok from the movie Return to Oz, which was in 1985, and then we get even. It started to remind me too of a lot of the Dick Van Dyke doing his toy soldier bit, and
Oh,
that would go back to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang from 1968.
68. Yep.
But then looking it up, that this is also callbacks to the robot Maria from the movie Metropolis, which takes us all the way back to 1927.
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of put together some
Yeah,
of the influences
and
or
then and then two years after this movie, so 2006, we get the Clockwork Robots in the episode of Doctor Who.
that's where the commentary to this movie by Del Toro, if he does go into some of his inspirations, um, because he loves movies just as much as we do. So if he's making these movies, he's got to be taking from his knowledge base of all the movies that he knows and loves and the directors, and you can't help but put some of that in your own work.
Yeah, that too.
Um,
I'm looking here again in my notes. When we get any of the monsters,
mhm.
all the voice work for monsters in this movie was done by Guillermo del Toro.
Mm.
So, yep, he voiced the Samael monster, Baby Hellboy, Cronin, and later on he will be Ivan the Corpse.
And right now, Sam L, this is the monster that is, we're seeing the creation of this monster. So apparently that canister had the salt of the tears of what was it? Fallen angels?
I think just a thousand angels, or
A thousand angels or thousand fallen angels?
yeah.
Yeah, this is a really cool CG effect where the salt is turning into yeah, a
Well,
pretty evil monster, I would assume.
the salt is, there's the evil monster is coming from an egg which is being preserved or protected in salt. The salt
Mhm.
was stopping the
Mhm.
monster from being created, because salt is always, the bane of supernatural or demonic monsters, like you recall from the movie Warlock, where they buried uh, the Book of the Damned in the Utah salt flats.
That makes sense. So it wasn't actually the salt, it was the egg that was embedded
Right.
in the salt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
That was
that
and it
the
was
salt
inside the
the salt
statue,
was
inside the
protect
museum.
yeah
Yeah,
preventing the creature from rising up.
there you go. This really is sweet. Not that I dig love stories, but this really is kind of a sweet love story.
Yeah, they compared the monster impregnating Hellboy with a couple eggs has made it on par with John Hurt in the movie, being it's the same with the alien, said putting a creature
Ah,
inside you.
yeah, that's an interesting connection as well. Johnny Dantic is saying, I saw Elements of Water or whatever it was called with the semen. It was okay, I guess, but Abe here is cooler. Yeah, because years after this, The Shape of Water had the same kind of creature. Um,
Yeah,
very
but I
different story plot, but it had that sea creature who was discovered by what government agencies, and this deaf woman who worked there was able to communicate with him. So it was an interesting movie. Interesting, yeah, interesting characters.
said sorry, I just now got a pun burning inside me because I realized that with the Samael creature impregnating his youth, that we now have green eggs and Sam.
But bub.
So I'll see myself out.
All right, GH is saying Blair always struck me as wooden in this role, one of the few weaknesses of the film.
But she gets to play the hot chick. Thank you, Calbot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think her purpose is to just balance it out, make Hellboy seem vulnerable and what more human like.
Yeah, and then there's comparisons here to her origin stories are being compared with as a to a fire starter or
Yeah,
Carrie.
exactly. It's very reminiscent of uh Firestarter. And this does have a lot of men in black feel to it. You know, the new agent comes on board, has to find his footing, has to do this job that he wasn't expecting. And you have to believe in supernatural, you have to believe in the unbelievable.
Yeah, he's the
So
he's the Justin Long character from Galaxy Quest. He goes, I know it's not real. Hey, shut up! It is real. I knew it.
I knew it. Oh, Justin Long, what a character. He goes from Galaxy Quest, then I think a few years later, he's in Jeepers Creepers. How many eggs were implanted in Hellboy's arm? Was it just the one?
It's three, laid three eggs.
Oh, three. Well, she doesn't like, okay, so she doesn't like the term fire starter, but that's what she is. But it's different than the book Firestarter because in the book Firestarter, she could create fire, but I think she could also be burned by it. This character of Liz, she's not burned by it.
Yeah, they're kind of ignoring because it's the
Oh,
same thing too. Where like none of her like she doesn't her clothes don't burn or
right.
things are it's like just kind of a really we're not going to get that involved in how this works.
Yeah, that part you we don't need to go too far into it, because it's one thing if she doesn't burn, but you're right. If you're wearing clothing, your clothing doesn't just become fireproof. If you're wearing jewelry, your jewelry would burn. Um, but we don't need to address that. Yeah, her origin story is very tragic. So are we all synced up now? We're seeing a young Liz, um, kind of what, developing her powers, or like the first time she's using it. We saw the flashback, and now we're seeing her in what, this group home that she thought she was being protected. And this all was because Rasputin put this little thought in her head. Um, yeah, he's a bad dude. We don't know what he wants with her, but why is he coming after her? So yeah, I think we should all pretty much be synced up. We just got done with Liz blowing up the building on accident. And now we're back in the underground paranormal home of Hellboy. Oh, just like a young, naive G-man. He's got the suit and he wants to help. All right, we are almost an hour in. We're about 55 minutes, and according to my time, it's 55:45. So we're almost halfway done. Miss Swift is saying, uh, that guy actor Corey Johnson is playing Agent Clay with the flashlight. Last seen in the watch party is Daniels, one of the unfortunate American tomb robbers in The Mummy. You are right. Good catch. Because he plays kind of a sort of a main role here. It's a like main supporting role. But you're right. He's not the guy in The Mummy. He's not the guy with the glasses. He was the one of the other guys. So I have a question. So if Liz is on the outside, she's in the outside world, and she's in she was in that group hospital, and now she's being held in isolation. So you would think that there's a part of the real world that would be working with this underground paranormal group, right? To keep her isolated out of the news, because what she did should have made the news everywhere. Um, so her identity, if I'm understanding it correctly, her identity is still being kept a secret, so to speak, under wraps.
Yeah, you'd have to, wonder again,
I
how
think.
much they're putting into trying to keep all these secrets. And it's almost again that too, where we were seeing in the little montage transition scenes there of like all the newspaper articles where they're getting like all these fantastic events would most likely have been, they're all the fodder for the tabloids. But as we see from Men in Black, the tabloids were the only news sources where you could get the truth from.
Specifically the National Enquirer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you can keep it out of the mainstream newspapers and television, then it ends up in things like the National Enquirer. So yeah, there is a lot of connection with The Shape of Water. Edward the Black Prince is saying Abe's design is great. You can tell Del Toro was happy with it. He basically used it again for The Shape of Water. Yeah, and The Shape of Water, I'm doing a quick search, came out in 2017. And I remember it got all of this praise. I mean, I
All
thought it was a good movie. It just wasn't one of my favorites.
I
Um,
haven't seen the movie, but I've seen all the controversy that it's just a direct ripoff of Splash.
yeah, in some respects, it's like a darker version of Splash. Um, but yeah, The Shape of Water got a lot of Academy Award nominations and it won for Best Picture. I'm happy, but yeah, it was good, but
Yeah,
it was
you want
certainly nothing like Pan's
something.
Labyrinth.
Yeah, I was going to
Oof.
say something that was more unique. I think was Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, that is absolutely my favorite pop movie of his and one of my favorites of all time
Yeah, because
because it was so different.
I've also been seeing a lot of similarities here to the Fantastic Four movie, and then
Oh,
we have we have a person who's on fire. We have a big rocky thing with all with all the power and strength, and then
mm.
we also have Doug Jones, who of course was the Silver Surfer in the sequel of the Fantastic Four.
Interesting connection. I would not have placed that. Yeah, so there is something in Del Toro when he was doing this movie, I guess that he took the affinity to Abe Sapien's character and basically redid it to be the central focus of The Shape of Water.
Anytime too, it's like now I just keep saying shape of water, and I'm just hearing in my head, form of water, and I'm all the way back to the '70s watching the Wonder Twins. So who here is a friend, a friend of the Super Friends? Anybody that old?
The Wonder Twins. Oh, didn't they had their own show, didn't they?
I
The
think
Wonder
because
Twins.
yeah, there were like two different. There was yeah, the Wonder Twins. Thank you, Cowboy.
Wonder
Yeah,
Twins.
Wonder
Oh,
Twin powers activate. But then I think the
thank
second
you,
version of the
Calbot.
second, yeah, the second version of the Super Friends replaced them with uh I want to say one of them was Wendy. It was yeah, another boy and a girl, and then they had their dog. No, I can't.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez. They first appeared in 1977. Oh boy, that's taking me back. Where the Black Prince is saying the Wonder Twins were lame.
yeah. But then we wouldn't have gotten that horrible Family Guy joke.
Yeah. TV was very interesting back in the day.
Uh,
So here,
that,
Abe
that was like
Sapien
yeah,
is front and center in the action. This is a really cool scene. Um, it's shot beautifully with the coloring, um, and the small spaces. You feeling cramped, and underwater, there's nothing scarier to me to be underwater, um, and just
Yeah,
having that terrifying feeling that you can't get out.
yeah, that was yeah. It's like you said. Yeah, Del Toro was really hesitant. He didn't want to have a lot of scenes in the sewers because he felt he had just done that in Blade too. But this kind of cries out. The story just cries out for yeah, monster in the sewer.
Yeah, in the sewers, which the regular police force has no knowledge of, and you don't see them anywhere in this movie. Oh yeah, this is kind of a sad scene and surprising to take out the FBI agent. Yes, Miss Swift is pointing out the good old early 2000s blue filter. Yeah, this movie in a lot of the scenes it's got that blue lighting, and under the water we saw the green lighting. And at points in filming, this movie gets very dark, but yet there's always enough light where you're not struggling to see what's going on. Nice touch in this scene. You got a bunch of nuns in the midst of all of the fighting and the evil monsters. You got a bunch of nuns in the back.
So you got to put them in the scene so when the danger happens, then you have nuns on the run.
But bum.
Yeah, I'm also wondering now because a lot of the fight scenes they and where you get studio involvement or because they wanted to maintain a PG-13 rating, so there's not a lot of bloodshed. Kind of limiting them there too. It's always you're always wondering how this would have been as an R-rated movie.
Was it? It was a PG-13?
This was released PG-13. So you see, there's a lot of yeah, a lot of yeah stabbing,
Interesting.
scenes, but no bloodshed.
Very interesting because this could very easily have turned into an R movie. Um, I don't think there's any swear words.
Yeah, and then
This would be a PG.
you've got a sarcastic hero who likes to make a bunch of puns and jokes. So we're seeing the beginnings of what we got with Deadpool.
Yeah, this is pre-Deadpool, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, and Deadpool just takes that sarcastic hero um
Yeah, you could
image and
also
just goes overboard.
yeah you could also compare Hellboy with Wolverine, just that kind of rough and tumble.
Oh. So Hellboy could be a cross between Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, here we have his love for kittens. He's like a demon with a heart of gold. Yeah, Mr. Furzel had commented, add another few dozen witnesses to see Hellboy now. There's a whole uh, subway, tunnel full of witnesses now. And this was 2004. Not everybody had cell phones. Or no, actually, no one had a cell phone back in 2004, did they? Um,
I'm trying. I can't recall.
yeah,
My I
no
had.
one had their cell phone out.
Yeah, I was going to say I started off with a Nokia that I can recall lasted me about 12 years. Those things are rugged, but not really that much in functionality.
Yeah.
Still basically it was a phone that you could only use as a phone.
Back in
Uh,
the day when phones were phones and they weren't smart.
yeah.
So Abe got pretty beat up. You could see he got slashed a few times. Um, but he did have to get out of the water because of the creatures that were in it. Um, how long could Abe survive out of the water? I don't know if it was ever addressed or if we ever know. Oh, yeah, here we go. Agent Clay, is that his name? Clay. Yeah, I'm afraid Clay doesn't have his happy ending. That was brutal. Yeah, sister cell phones weren't as prevalent as they are today. Yeah, so this creature right here, the sandbag man, made of sand, has to wind himself up, and then you see him wind himself down so he appears dead. Part sand, part mechanical creation.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's almost kind of thinking that yeah, if the body is just a host for another entity, or is it just we get still yeah not I don't think we ever get all the details.
Yeah, he's just kind of an interesting creature.
Are you at the autopsy yet of Cronin?
No, we're at the taxi cab scene where Liz and the agent are hanging out the door, the window. They're taking pictures, and they're going for a nice cab ride.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit pause again because you
You're
got.
you're ahead of that.
I'm yeah. I've hit pause a few times there. I'm still seem like those extra 10 minutes seem to be going on forever because I'm still always seems way ahead.
Oh, we see Abe is in a tank undergoing treatment and healing, just like Luke Skywalker was. The same kind of tank.
Yeah, it's again where I say yeah.
Oh.
It's just so hard to say yeah. Who's having a creative idea and who's copying someone else's work?
GH Zoner is commenting Myers may be pure of heart, but he is moving in on Hellboy's girl. Yes, he is. And that won't set well if Hellboy finds out.
Yeah, and that was that plot line was just specific to the movie. The comic books apparently don't have the Liz and Hellboy romance.
And one of the movie iterations downplayed their romance as well, right? Did anybody see? Yeah, there was some comments of the reboots, remakes, um, but from what I understand, they didn't do the romance, so it was just this and the Golden Army addressed it. Oh, Manning is such a government tool.
Like
He
there's
likes it.
Miss Swift posting, yeah, the Johnny Rico and
Yeah,
Starship Troopers in the back to tank.
yeah. There you go.
Don't know if I want to see that medical advance or not. I don't know if I need to be bathed in water. It might be a pleasant experience.
Well, if that technology does eventually exist, there would have to be some kind of medicinal properties in the water that make you heal faster or better.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Uh,
don't know where we're going with technology because everything I
yeah.
buy doesn't seem to do anything. I just bought a bottle of icy hot that is like, well, it's useless. It's not icy and it's not hot. It's not doing
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Well, where's technology going? Um, it was just reported in the news that Western Digital is out of stock and they will be out of stock for all of their hard drives. Um, I imagine Seagate's going that route too. Anyone who manufactures hard drives will be out for the next 2 or 3 years at the minimum. All of their components are going to the data centers. Um, so the regular consumer, if we need any components, I think we might be out of luck. Um, yeah, that's where the world's headed. Yeah. Okay. That's a great shot there, Miss Swift. We see the underwater in the abyss when they put the rat underwater and you could breathe underwater. Um, yeah, that is interesting. And I found that in the abyss, that kind of water technology or water advancement, they actually can do that. And they can actually make it so people can breathe underwater. Um, from what I understand, you can't do it for very long, but it's fascinating. Here we go. Now we're at the autopsy of Cronin. He's just now taking the plastic off him. So now we see why he had basically head to toe covering because he really is just he's like an abomination. Like
Yes.
what do they just call it? Surgical addiction?
Yep. I'm seeing the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz, so he's all stuffed with straw, and so he may have a little more brain power. Not sure.
So yeah, this is interesting, this character. Um, and apparently when he just commented that it's dust, this guy Cronin was addicted to surgery, and after all of that work that he had done, his inside has just turned to dust. Um, and what was that thing that was like his heart that he had to turn that knob, his heart? That's weird. Oh, Miss Swift, I first found out about the breathable water before the abyss via TV show called Beyond 2000. slash beyond tomorrow. And it's amazing we don't hear about that, what, breathing underwater, that water you can breathe. You don't hear about it today, but it does exist. Oh boy. Okay, we're at the scene where Hellboy is he's kind of stalking his girl. He's following her, I guess, wants to make sure she's safe, but watching her, and I think he's getting the impression that he is going after his girl. The agent is going after his girl. Agent Myers. Yeah,
Yeah, doing
GH is saying they haven't made any advancements since then is likely why, or so the internet tells me. Yeah. Well, I mean, Agent Myers is doing his job. He was brought in to keep an eye on them, right? Hellboy's keeper. So by extension, he would watch out for Liz as well.
yeah. I don't know if we're getting the from Liz's point of view as she sees. Does she see Hellboy more as the father figure rather than a companion?
Yeah, we don't have much of the origin of their love story, do we? Where they met, how they met, what drew them to each other. It's just kind of a simple love story that we're seeing from his perspective. For the most part, we're seeing it from his perspective. Yeah, Swift, it could be an age gap romance. It has to be if he was born in 1944 and we fast forward 60 years. Um, but what did they say at the beginning? He's like a man in his 20s.
Yeah, he said
So,
yeah, said that he was like 60 years of age, but a man of his 20s. Which I find
which
that
he's
oddly, I'm not sure I'm happy with that because I am now of 60 years of age and still think I'd run around with 20 or younger in my head.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if humans just aged a lot slower? So maybe 60 age-wise, but like physically we're still in our 20s. That wouldn't be so bad. Miss Swift, did they say 20s or more like a teen? I thought they had said in his 20s, if I remember correctly, because yeah, it was towards the beginning of the movie.
I'm going to go with, I'm going to add to Calbot saying 60 is the new 20. I'm just going to say that I'm 20 with three times the experience.
Yeah, that'll work. Oh, here we go. This is a great effect that they did. Creepy looking guy. He just started walking off the autopsy table and he's putting himself together and he looks like something out of Hellraiser.
No, thanks. Now I'm trying to fit Cenobites into the Hellboy universe.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they brought him into what their hiding spot because they thought he was dead.
Now he said, yeah, I'm going, oh my God, they brought Penguin into the Batcave.
Yeah, in essence, that's what they did.
Yeah.
But they should really have known better that in the world of monsters and sorcery and the occult and all this magic they're dealing with, they should have known better. And I only say that because I know what's coming, but we won't give any spoilers. Oh, Myers just took a rock to the head. There's your sign. He should have known it was Hellboy throwing the rocks. Can he, I mean, really, guys, is he that blind to not know Hellboy's got the hots for her and they're a thing? Did he not know or did he not care?
Said, hey, you got to take your shot.
Okay, so Cronin is now coming down the stairs to meet the professor, Professor Broom. Yeah, I'm not liking the sight of this. So how did Rasputin get into the lair as well? Does he just have those that magical quality that he can appear wherever he wants to? And yeah, and I missed the part where he knew where the lair was, or was it through Cronin that he was able to infiltrate?
That would be, yeah. My best speculation would be, yeah, it's just a off screen that Cronin lets him in.
Ah, okay, guys, we now see Rasputin's purpose for Hellboy. Yeah, Miss Swift is saying villain homing beacon. Okay, so the actor who plays Rasputin, um, oh, I don't know. He looks very familiar. Um, Karel Rodin is his name. Looks really familiar. Okay, what else do we know him from? Oh, I don't like that scene. Oh, yeah, what a way to die. He already had cancer and he just went out like that. Okay, Carl Rodin was also in a lot of these movies I had not heard of, but it looks like he was in the Born Supremacy. That I would know him in. Um, he played a lawyer, Carter Conan, in the movie Blade 2. He was in the Born Supremacy, Running Scared 2006. Oh, Running Scared 2006. Interesting movie starring Paul Walker. It's not the comedy from the 80s. Um, this small little movie, if you guys haven't seen it, highly recommend. Um, Paul Walker, Vera Farmiga, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Chaz Palminteri stars in it. Good movie.
Yep. Miss Swift just wrote up the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Oh, that's
Oh,
if that's from his, if he was in that, or
uh,
I need you to expand on what you've written, Miss Swift.
okay. Yeah, Carl
Okay.
Roden is from Czechoslovakia. He's got a long filmography. Um, but most of these I had not seen. Could be a lot of the overseas work. Um, yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Got him confused with the other guy, Miss Swift. Yeah, he's a got a long IMDb rap sheet. Just not a lot that I have seen him in.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you get a lot of villain roles, it'd always be the when you get the like foreign bad guys. So we're always like the crew of in Die Hard and Lethal Weapon. Yeah, you always get they always need to cast usually a European looking bad guys.
So this is the remastered version I'm watching. I think we've got two scenes here that are not in the original theatrical release. There was one scene that they were standing in the rain and you could see Hellboy getting wet. And the scene that we're in now is Sapien is upside down in the tank. He's got the Rubik's Cube. Now, if I'm not mistaken, those are not part of the theatrical release because this doesn't seem familiar. The last time I watched this was the theatrical. Does not look familiar.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't recall that I yeah
I don't think.
I've been yeah on and off pausing trying to let you catch up to me, and I don't know where I don't think even it's, if I saw that scene or not. So I'm gonna say yeah that's not in the theatrical version.
So this scene we're in right now is Rasputin is being taken uh, by what Russian officers I can gather to what this big warehouse with all of these relics from the motherland, they call it. Um, so I think this was in the theatrical. So let's discuss. Okay, this gal, the gal in the red. What is her role in all of this? Is she plays a, I mean, pretty prominent role. We've seen her in a couple scenes so far. Is she Rasputin's what right hand man, so to speak? What is her significance in the Hellboy lore? Um, because she almost seems to me like she could be like a throwaway character. Or does she play a larger role? Yeah, GH is saying she's a lackey.
Yeah,
Yeah, she seems to just
yeah,
be following him around and doing his
yeah.
bidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is she supposed to be set up like the femme fatale, or at this
Yeah.
point, yeah, she's just a yeah, she's just part of the fan club. She's a groupie.
Yeah, that's a good word, groupie. But she wasn't in the first scene where we saw in 1944, we saw the destruction of Rasputin and the origins of this story. She wasn't part of that. So yeah, I was almost thinking that if she's timeless as well, but she had nothing to do with the origin, so she just knew it from what the history, the stories, or whatever the lore that she had been reading.
Yeah, it always gets me when you get the minions, the flunkies.
Oh,
They're like if they're so invested in the bad guy they're following, how do they not figure out that they're gonna they're the fodder, they're the first to go. I just every movie I see it
they
where
are.
where they get rid of the flunkies, and I'm like, you didn't see that coming.
Yeah, the flunkies are always the one in the what, in the red shirt with no
Yeah,
name. They're always the first to go. Gotcha. Thank you. GH was saying she was there. Yes, at the beginning. He made her immortal before he got sucked in. And Miss Swift is saying, yes, she was. She stole the book after Rasputin granted her immortality to find him again. See, that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, and Calbot is saying when Rasputin is wearing those glasses, it reminds me of Joe Pants in The Matrix. And Calbot posted over in Discord a picture of him from The Matrix. Looks exactly like Rasputin. That's uncanny. All right, guys, we are now in Moscow, where it all began. Oh, and Manning came with them. What the heck is he doing there? There's no newspapers. No one's going to report on it. So is this in the theatrical one as well? We're in the cemetery and everyone's just traipsing through the cemetery. Um,
yep. That's where
don't recall this in the theatrical.
yeah, that's where yeah, I've been waiting for you to get to the cemetery, so I hit play again.
Okay.
But have we dug up the corpse yet?
No, we have not.
Okay, so I'm still a few seconds ahead of you.
GH is saying they're already underground where I'm watching, so I think you're just a few minutes ahead. Are we figuring out that the Hellboy's makeup, that's all just red makeup? He's probably got a prosthetic on his head, but all his face, his neck is all red makeup. And so whatever the makeup of the makeup is, it's pretty durable because I don't see it getting smeared at all. Now
Yeah,
we've got this corpse coming to life.
yeah, that might be. It's all prosthetic pieces because I remember reading
Mhm.
they said the only part of Ron Perlman is his eyelids. I think everything else is a prosthetic application.
So even on his face, that's all
Mhm.
prosthetic and not makeup.
Yeah,
That makes sense. But it's certainly well done. Yeah, GH, and maybe those abs. Maybe those are his abs. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, Johnny Devick, is wondering how many hours the makeup took. Because I'm torn between when you see the close up, it so you can kind of see prosthetic, maybe his nose and his upper lip, but yeah, it almost could be his face with just a little bit of touch up. All right, so who is this dead guy they dug up and carrying the bones around? Did we miss that little exposition part about who this dead guy is?
Yeah, this is all I know is his name is Ivan. Ivan the corpse.
Didn't Men in Black do something like that? Or the sequel Men in Black 2 had the guy that had the backpack and the little head that came out?
Yeah, that was what Johnny Knoxville played that character.
I think so. I think that
The,
was
the,
the
one-
sequel.
yeah, this is the one time where I've watched a part in this movie where because this scene where where you raise the dead and ask them questions to further the quest, it gets done in the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Ah,
So that one where I'm going at least like now it's like one of the first times I have a future reference I'm seeing going, aha, Hellboy did it first. Because most everything I get reminded of is something that came before Hellboy.
so now we have something that was influenced from this,
Yeah.
probably.
But then again, yeah, since it's the Dungeons and Dragons, it's probably carrying on from actual Dungeons and Dragons lore, which would have been written history that occurred well before Hellboy. So
Here we go. Mr. Furzel over in Discord posted a GIF, and it said Ron Perlman dressed up in full Hellboy makeup to visit a kid and grant his Make a Wish Foundation request. And it does say there's 4 hours in the makeup chair just to make a sick kid's day. 4 hours by
yeah,
movie standard is not bad. Not bad.
that kid,
Gotcha.
yeah, I wonder that makes me reminds me of the Make a Wish kid who had the same request, but he wanted to meet Jason Voorhees. They got the same picture, the same thing, but
Oh,
instead Jason Voorhees being the little kid's pal.
can you imagine? I would. That was the kind of kid I was. You know, you make a wish. I would want to see Hellboy or Jason or Freddy. Um, there we go. Miss Swift is saying Ivan Cleet something a hanged murderer who he used a magic charm to raise for answers.
That Make a Wish thing is just reminding me of well when I was working at the mall. I think they had a guy in a Smokey the Bear costume, and
Mm.
he was on break, so he was walking the back hallways of the mall, so he wasn't out in the open, but the bathrooms were there too. So there was a mother and her little daughter had just walked out of the bathroom, and then the little girl saw Smokey the Bear without his head on, and she goes, "Hey, mom, that's not a bear, it's a people."
Oh, geez. That's what the one thing you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed
Yep,
to take it off.
not
But
break the illusion.
yeah. And there we see, thank you, Mr. Frizzle also
Yep.
painted, posted the picture of Jason visiting a sick kid, and the kid's not terrified.
No, there's other ones. Yeah, the kids
That's
got it.
cute.
Just giving him a great big hug. It's like, oh, I love you, Jason. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I was, yeah, that's the kind of kid I was. Just a little bit different. This is also, I think this is an extended scene from the theatrical cut. Um, they're making their way, I guess, to the depths of wherever it is they're going. Um, yeah, that sword work, he should have nailed Manning and got him with one shot. No, the line is, "You killed my father, prepare to die." That's what he did, Miss Swift. Never take your eyes off your target. He's like this professional assassin and he missed. Oh, that's a hell of a trap door. That is awesome. All right. By my calculations, we have 28 minutes left. Oh, okay. This is awesome. That is a great ending to a character. That's a great death. And if we were watching this in a movie theater, this would be the time you'd just be sitting back, cheering, eating your popcorn, and just enjoying the movie.
I'm trying. I was trying to come up with it's like, yeah, well, he's that he's run out of time because he's leaking sand because time is an hourglass, and I'm like, it's just not working. Give up. Too much explanation to get anyone. Like, what the heck are you talking about? Don't don't need to explain my jokes so they're not funny.
Well, if he was made of dust and sand, he would die if he got stabbed enough. There was a comment about that. If he got stabbed enough, it would all leak out.
Now I'm just trying to make it. These are the
Right?
days of our lives reference, so I'm gonna stop.
Oh, like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. There you go. Yep. And no sooner did you mention that, Miss Swift posted a GIF of that hourglass.
Yep.
And is
Now just follow that with Captain America getting that reference.
Days of Our Lives, is it still around?
It's it's
Yes,
like
it's still around.
yeah, where would soap operas run? Because it would have to be their own separate channel, and then that just doesn't work.
Wow. Yeah, back in the 60s when pretty much all of these soap operas started, they'd run all day, all three networks.
Yep, and get them all done
Uh,
before the kids get home from school.
exactly. And now I believe there's only, of the original ones, I think there's only one or two or three that are still around. So the trick these FBI guys have to do is you can't kill these creatures without two of them showing up. So how do you kill them all? Oh, Miss Swift had said, yeah, the soap channel tried for a few years but went away. Um, yeah, soap operas they lasted for about 50 years and then they just, for the most part, died away.
So I need one dedicated to the Spanish soap operas because those were intense and
Hmm.
violent.
Yeah, we didn't have access to those, but I know they're called what, telenovelas?
Yeah,
Um, I'm sure some of those are still around.
Probably caught a bunch of those on the
Maybe on the
UHF
soap
channel
channel.
UHF channels when I was trying to dial in Monty Python.
Ah, oh, here we go. Liz is gonna shine. It's Liz's turn. So you would have to have some kind of really big explosion to take out all of those monsters and all of the monsters that come out of the monsters. I say just nuke it. Nuke it from orbit.
Nuke it from orbit. Awesome.
There you go. Oh, Miss Swift, telenovelas are now K dramas. That's weird. Um, and Johnny Devick says, guess the soap operas could be seen as a start point for new actors. Home and Away and the likes in Australia have given us a few ones. Yeah, out here in the States, a lot of actors get their start on soap operas. There you go. She just nuked everything. That would be a great superpower to create fire and you wouldn't burn. But then there's also creating ice.
Yeah. Which that's
Um,
also funny because that was also the solution to the problem in Blade 2 because they exploded the UV light bombs and to get rid of all the vampires. So I'm kind of like, okay.
why isn't he dead? Clay should be dead. They're just keeping him around as what? Leverage? Ah, here we go. This is the final setup. And so the whole purpose, if I'm getting this right, is Rasputin needs Hellboy to open the gates to hell.
And now I'm going like, okay, now we're watching Ghostbusters because you've got the Keymaster, the gatekeeper, and the
He's the
Keymaster.
keymaster. And Liz is being used as leverage to get him to do what they want. Um, yeah, Miss Swift and Alex posted gifts to Ghostbusters. That is funny. All right, so in essence, Rasputin just took out her soul. That's not the way to endear yourself to Hellboy. That's for sure. So where else in movies have we seen this trope about the eclipse? Um, the
All
eclipse
of
is like
them.
this magical time where things can happen. These magical things have to happen on the exact moment of the eclipse.
Yeah. I'm getting now. We're getting the full form of Hellboy, and I'm going, yeah, but still not as impressive as Tim Curry in Legend.
Mm. Yeah, eventually we're going to see Legend. Yeah, Miss Swift is also mentioning, yeah, everywhere. It's a pretty well
Yeah.
used trope. Here we go. Yeah, so they need him to transform into his true his true nature, what he really is. That's what Rasputin is hoping for.
Uh, I'm not paying attention because Miss Smith just called out Heck Boy, and I looked at that and I'm like, who the heck is Heck Boy? Oh, now I remember.
Cute. For Hellboy's alter ego. We have Hellboy and Heckboy.
Yep, yep. When you can't get the real deal, you go to Timu and you get Heck Boy.
Whoa, okay, GH is saying the credits just started. Holy smokes, I've got 17 minutes, but I think that includes my credits. So Hellboy was the he held the key. Rasputin's the key master. He had the key, and now this it set off this flare right to the moon sun eclipse, and so we're seeing the true origin of what's on the other side. So what? This creature couldn't come to life until his ship or his egg or whatever blew up. Yeah. So we want to follow the story. I think that's what's going on. Yeah, Miss the finale with a giant sky beam, and it's bringing the creature from the other side. They use
Yep,
this in one of the Marvel movies too,
yep. Every
right?
movie had a sky beam.
Yeah, it had
Su-
in the
Suicide
sky. It had
Squad. Yeah.
the key to the other side, and then it let the creatures through.
It's
But
like
wait,
it's
it's
like
not over yet.
the newer effect. It's like back in the '80s, it was always like the cloud machine. Everything was billowing, ominous clouds, and then we get in this era was the sky beam.
Yep, the eclipse, the moon, the sun, the sky beam. Interesting. Okay, so we have an interesting dichotomy going on with Hellboy, where his origins and who he used to be and where he was created does not necessarily dictate where you end up. And you can be redeemed.
Uh, I'm seeing here now that we've seen that the entity needed a vessel to inhabit, and Rasputin needed a soul, so he had to take that from Liz. And these are all Russians. So do we just have a whole series of Russian nesting dolls going on?
It would appear so. So Rasputin still has her soul. Well, he's pretty mortal for being immortal.
And that's also, yeah. Now I'm saying, how many other, yeah, immortal beings taking on their superpower but becoming mortal, leaving to their downfall. I'm going a whole bunch of movies. I think that happened in Ghost Rider, Big Trouble in Little China. it's
And it goes on and on.
it's like, yeah, how many people, yeah, lost their immortality to take on a larger superpower, except it killed them.
Well, I think my credits have got to be really long because we're approaching the end. So Rasputin and whatever her name is, they're gone because what really lived inside of Rasputin was this squid. It's this immortal squid. Okay.
Yeah, and you got to, yeah, stay at least halfway through the credits for the little teaser scene is in the credits.
Oh yeah, we still have to deal with the big old squid monster. And Liz is still technically dead. Um, yeah, okay, Miss Swift posted a picture of Azathoth. Where is that from? Because that looks exactly like this big old squid monster.
Yeah, it's got to be some Lovecraft lore.
Yeah. Um, and so we still have to deal with Liz's soul. If Rasputin took her soul, there was a reference that what he took her soul into hell. So now we know she's got to show up in the sequel. Yeah, mostly dead. Calvin is saying Liz is only mostly dead. Oh, there you go, Miss Swift. Okay, one of
Yep.
Lovecraft's outer gods. Yes.
Yeah, I hadn't spotted the Princess Bride connection before, but thanks.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro is heavily influenced by H.P. Lovecraft. Influence is evident in his passion for cosmic horror, creature design, and his long-standing, though unproduced, attempt to adapt Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness.
Yep. So, how many other Lovecraft movies did we watch? Did we do Reanimator? Did we do They Live?
Mm. I yes and yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Uh, so a couple of years ago, I remember Cabinet of Curiosities. Wasn't that a mini series? And I believe that was Del Toro's mini series, which was
Hmm.
heavily influenced by Lovecraft as well. And we can see it. We can see it here, and I bet it's in a lot of other works by him. Oh, yay! Liz is now mostly alive or fully alive.
No, so hot right now.
Aww. Okay, we are approaching the end. I don't think I'm going to have any scenes after this. Um, yeah, are
Well,
we pretty much? I know
uh,
someone is.
I've,
We're already
yep,
done.
I've got credits rolling.
Okay.
Yep. No, I had to pause several times to stay in sync with you. That was like the
Well,
longest 10 minutes of extra scenes I've ever encountered.
that seemed like a lot more than 10 minutes.
Yep.
But we have a happy ending. Um, yeah, Miss Swift, this could end like that. The Power of Love, Brian Adams or Huey Lewis, take your pick. And it's a good thing that he's not burned by fire. Cause yeah, now they're kind of getting it on, and she's on fire. There we go. I think we're pretty much at the end. All right, we're waiting for um oh, Miss Swift, I've got a little bit to go. I paused to keep up. So now I'm at the credits. How are we doing, guys? Are we pretty much all at the credits? And I don't think there's any after credit scene.
There's one. There's like a mid credit scene. One.
Oh, is it relevant to
No.
okay.
It,
Yeah, so we
it's
don't
one of those. Yeah.
it's
It's just a little stinger joke.
okay. Yeah, we are normally we don't sit through credits unless there's a really good reason. So we're just gonna we can pause it and stop. We have had quite a movie today. Um, phew. That was like a roller coaster ride. That was great fun. Exactly what we needed after last week. All right. How about impressions? Let's get Sith sister. Let's get your wife's cheese rating. If she watched today, we got to get a cheese rating. Um, Johnny Devick is saying credits say Mike Mignola was visual consultant. What else did he do? Because that was very visually appealing, I should say. Very well shot. Um, and very keeping with the Hellboy vibe. Um, is that okay? I don't have the volume up. Is it The Glory of Love? Um, everyone, okay. How about The Power of Love by Peter Cetera? GH Zoner saying, or The Glory of Love. Yeah, that's the song from the 80s. All those love stories that were in movies. Who could forget? Um, all right, guys, what did you think? Any comments, good or bad?
I just say if we're
This felt long,
just say
almost
we
too long.
need a, cheese reference, I'll go with pepper jack. Little
I
spicy in there.
yeah. This is like a jalapeno um meets Havarti. Let's go that. Sister, I had not seen this cut of it, but I liked it. I still need to see the Golden Army. Wife's cheese rating, like a solid block of sharp cheddar cheese, it feels substantial. It focuses on practical effects and a heavenly mix of monsters rather than CGI fluff, thus making it a really good movie. That is a great way of summing it up because this was just like the perfect mix of entertainment, story, character development, directing, cinematography, made for a blast where you feel like at the end of it, it was a great ride. Um, and you don't feel like you've just wasted 2 hours of your life. Um, there you go.
Yeah, I found it
Um,
more interesting. Like, yeah, they were setting up a good world structure, and yeah, it's too bad we only got to dip our toes in it twice. But
yeah,
I like to connect this to with like Pan's Labyrinth, and would like to see more of because
definitely.
it seemed like yeah, Guillermo del Toro is giving us more of like a more of the Spanish mythologies to where what we just see in common stream media, we just kind of get the same old stuff over and over again. So it's nice to see a few more cultures, have their mythologies showcased.
Yeah, most definitely. I would recommend if you guys haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth, watch it at your leisure. And also, Sister, if you can, this is a great time to watch The Golden Army, and these movies just mesh together really well, just one after the other. Um, Calbot is saying this was fun. Been meaning to watch this for a long time, just haven't gotten around till now. Should have been a bigger franchise. Yes, it should have. With Ron Perlman at the helm leading the cast, with Del Toro directing the franchise. And I'm always poo pooing franchises because they always run their course. But I think they could have very easily gotten maybe one or two more movies out of it and been successful if Ron Perlman and Del Toro were um, at the helm. So, we got what we got, and we can
Yep.
always go
I
back and
will
watch
say,
it
yeah,
again.
we should have at least gotten eight movies this out and crap in the
Yeah.
middle when Hellboy goes to space.
Oh, jeez. And at some point, it would have jumped the shark, as normal franchises do, normally around the fourth or fifth. Um, if they had waited to do Hellboy Goes to Space as like the eighth and kept it going, then the eighth could have been the last. Um, yeah. Oh, GH is saying apparently he is still up for doing a third one if Del Toro comes back. Yeah. Ron Perlman has always said he's up to come back and do it again. And for whatever reason, everything has just fizzled out, and they tried to reboot it with other actors. It ain't gonna work. Um, all right, so for next week, um, I'm changing my stance on sequels, because I want to follow up our anime movie that we had a couple weeks ago. It was so successful, so much fun, and there had been a lot of talk about the sequel to The Vampire Hunter. So next week, I want to pick that up and do the sequel, Vampire Hunter Bloodlust from 2000. Um, and I want to keep like that momentum from the anime while it's still kind of still fresh in my mind and fresh in our watch party history. That let's visit this uh, sequel, which picks up 15 years, I believe, after the first Vampire Hunter D. Um, and yeah, and let's kind of stay in the anime. I'd love to be bringing it on board. Um, and
I said, wait, did they do a boarding house part two?
oh god, I would have to just like vomit my way through that. Um, okay, so just to give you guys heads up, what we're going to be doing to round out March is after Vampire Hunter Bloodlust, we're bringing in Death Becomes Her on March 22nd. That's from 1992. That's got Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, and Bruce Willis. That's an amazing movie if you haven't seen it. And on the 29th, we're going to be bringing in our Western. We're going to be doing For a Few Dollars More from 1965. Um, and those movies are going to round out March. And yeah, there you go. Any last thoughts, Mr. Heck Boy?
I say, everyone just have a hell of a nice day.
Um, yes, everybody have a great week. We're going to be doing this again next Sunday. Vampire Hunter Bloodlust is next week.
Yeah,
Same
yeah,
time, same channel. Um, and I hope you all have a very safe, pleasant week. Be good to yourself. We all just need to be very good to ourselves. Don't take yourself too seriously at times. Sometimes life does get overwhelming, but just know, hey, we're here every Sunday to lighten everyone's life up a little bit and have some fun. Um, and and we'll see you all next week. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll see
yeah.
ya. Bye.
Goodbye, all.